So a little bit of context for you that may not be familiar with Ren or my journey with Ren or what has brought us here doing a full deep dive on Ren. Little bit of context that may be redundant for some of you, but through our request phases and stuff, everybody throws the music that they like, that they want to present to me, present to the community, and I just kind of go through them as a whole, and I like some, I don't like some, and that's just kind of how being a human being works. Well, one of the only times that I have stopped a video and not completed it in that sitting was because of Ren's High Ren. The sound, the feel of it just got, and I was like, nope, I can't go through 8 minutes of this or 11 minutes or whatever that song was. I can't do it. That's too much. Nope, not for me. Enjoy if you enjoy. It's not for me. So I was like, nope. Well, enough people said, they said it well. They weren't a bunch of D-bags about it, but they were like, I think you should give him another chance. Enough people said that, then I was like, okay, fair. At the very least, I need to go back and finish that video. I think that's the right thing to do. Okay, that's fair. Now, the ones that initially came to me in very different ways or said, he's sick, he has this, so you should like his music. No, it does not work that way. And I have to assume that any artist, especially someone like Ren that's independent and he has a voice to him, like not like musically, he does, but he would not want you to like his music just because of his sickness or sicknesses, right? So that doesn't seem right. That doesn't sit right with me. So anyway, ultimately I went back to it and it led to a bit of a rabbit hole with Ren that's going to get deeper today, because not only did I finish that video, I was so blown away with how the whole thing was done and with the way that he created things, because what led us here to Ren, aside from that story I just told you, and seeing some of his incredible work up to this point, is that lately, as some of you know, I have been kind of struggling with some of the patterns that I'm seeing in some of the music industries around the world, and some of the factory and the machinery of it, where it's like, it just, sometimes it feels like they're just trying to print out music groups to be like, okay, we've got a new age group of 15 to 17 that's coming up, and this type of music is trending. Let's build a friggin' group just for that. Boom, bam, bam. And they're just printing them out. I don't like that. I get it. I get it from an industry standpoint, but I don't like it. And honestly, it feels insulting. It feels patronizing. I don't like it. So Ren fits extremely timely for me because he's independent, and everything that we're going to see, my understanding, and I could be wrong, is that these are choices that he is making as a creator. That's a whole different world than somebody being the puppet of a greater machine and doing things because it's going to make money, right? Yeah, it's not genuine. And I think Ren is an extremely genuine guy. And even some of the darker sides of his journey we've already seen when the whole Cujo beatdown thing happened. That was just a little bit of controversy, a little bit of drama. I mean, it was kind of a lot of drama, but we only touched on it just a little bit. But we've seen some darker sides of him. So I'm very respectful of the fact of how he's doing this. Let's give a little bit of context to Ren. And we've never done this before. I am pulling up his Wikipedia page, and I want to just see what is the first bit. Okay, Ren Gill, born March 29th, 1990, known professionally as Ren, is a multi-award-winning Welsh singer, songwriter, musician, rapper, producer, and director. Wow. Formerly a member of Trick the Fox, write that down, and The Big Push, also write that down. Ren has independently released 2 albums, 2016's Freckled Angels and 2023's Sick Boy, which I think we have heard. His second major album, Sick Boy, reached the number 1 spot on the UK charts on October 20th, 2023. This is an independent artist that had a number 1 spot. That is friggin' amazing. Beating out Rick Astley's new release. Rick Astley. Never gonna give you up. That one. In a battle for number 1 and surpassing both Drake and Troye Sivan. In the US, the album debuted at number 137 on the top 200 Billboard. Ren also debuted at number 4 on Billboard's Emerging Artist chart and number 54 on the Billboard 100 Artist chart. Okay, let me skip ahead just a little bit. Ren's breakthrough came when he released Hi Ren in 2022. That's the one that I initially turned off. How ironic is that? It went viral, receiving 6.8 million views on YouTube in 2 months and charted worldwide in YouTube's trending music video chart. Honorable mention for Best European Music Video, Prague Music Video Awards, nominated for Best Music Video at Camera Image 2023. As of April 2025, it has 50 million views. Now, we've seen Money Game Part 3 and 2 and 1. Okay, here we go. Ren has been dealing with Lyme disease and its side effects since 2009. He was misdiagnosed with depression, chronic fatigue syndrome, and bipolar disorder for years. Wow. At the end of 2015, he was properly diagnosed. The following year, he received an experimental treatment that included stem cell transplants. He did not completely recover. He has autoimmune issues, brain damage, PTSD, and fatigues easily. He continues to try experimental treatments to improve his health. Many of his songs reflect what he has been through, and he is an advocate for discussing mental health issues more openly. Well. Wow. Okay, so he was misdiagnosed for years. Depression, chronic fatigue syndrome, and bipolar disorder. And then properly diagnosed in 2015. He is an advocate for discussing mental health issues more openly, which you know already that's kind of our thing too. We're okay with that. Yeah, already you can tell he's a very strong person. That's good. Autoimmune, brain damage, PTSD, and of course, because of the chronic fatigue syndrome, fatigues easily. Okay. I feel like that gives us a really good picture of of where to start understanding Ren as a person, and then seeing how that picture will then translate into his art. Let me see. What is it? Trick the Fox? Let's see if there's anything there. He's so young. Oh, what? Yo, we're starting here. This is 12 years ago. Yo, check this out. Now, if we're trying to understand the artist, this is a great place to start. This is 12 years ago. Trick the Fox, a poem by Ren.
I wrote a poem last year. And I never do poems, so I'm going to do a poem over some guitar chords. The meaning of this life can change. It's just how you observe it. Like you can't stop a wave, but you can learn to surf it, so it's all down to interpretation. Remember, one man changed the laws of physics with a 3-letter equation, and so I take this principle and I apply that to life, for every moment's an opportunity dressed in a different disguise. To be aware of our potential, that is to open our eyes. The only force that works against us is the ticking of time, but I accept mine. I stare death in the face, I take hold of his bony fingers, I hold death and embrace, for to accept death is to be free from fear, and we can fill the gap with love. love and time just seems to disappear. For what is the use working a 9-to-5 job trying to build some sort of status for ourselves before our time is up, if when we get there we feel the same as we did from the start? Material wealth will never quench a thirsty heart. We spend so much time searching for the meaning of our existence that sometimes we forget to just exist through sheer persistence. Buddhist monks will spend years in deep meditation, and saints will contemplate God and all of his creations. Scientists will try to summarise with an equation. Consumerists will try to buy the ticket to salvation. Well, this is my theory. This is my school of thought. The meaning of life is much easier than once thought. You want to know what it is? Yeah? Well, my theory is the meaning of life, it is to simply live. And if I am wrong, then Lord please forgive, but it seems so simple, it's obvious, it makes me want to shout out that the meaning of life is this second, this moment, right here, right now.
Wow, damn. Yeah, T, I have to agree with you. That is talented from early. And you know, we kind of talked about poetry a little bit yesterday, and how poetry is a form of writing that, depending on how you do it, doesn't generally play by rules. Now, if you take this and you call it a poem, it's not really playing by any rules. You call it a song, it's not really playing by any rules. And I think, honestly, that's kind of the perfect summation of who I already kind of have this picture in my mind of Ren. He's not playing by the rules. He's independent, which means he has the freedom to not do that. You know, can you imagine when we watched Cujo Beatdown, okay? Can you imagine him having to pitch his producers that idea and them approve it and then launch it? That might be kind of a tricky gamble, you know? But because he kind of has some freedom, he's able to do that. Yeah, and Ash, I'm kind of with you because, like, he's so deliberate with his words that I feel like most of his song, it's not a vibe. It is, you need to sit down and pay attention to what he's actually saying. You know, so much of the music that we listen to, you can kind of just sit back, and granted, it's in a different language, so it's really easy to not get lost in the lyrics, but you kind of sit back and you just kind of bob your head, oh, I like the music, I like this. But his stuff, like Joe says, is absolutely a statement. So you kind of have to sit down and pay attention. Otherwise, it's lost on you. And I can see how, like, he's not bigger than he should be. I mean, because I think the message can just, you got to be willing to kind of put in the time to an artist like this. And I do think that with what he delivers, he makes that effort into him, that investment, worth it. Ren has a very good ROI, return on investment. And what I kind of love about that, based on the stuff that we have seen, is, like, how do I put this? He doesn't treat the audience like they're idiots. He puts art forward in a way that respects you as a listener and someone paying attention, so that if you do put in the time, it's going to be worth it. I love that. And the amount of directors I have heard speak over the years where I've been like, yes, that's what I'm talking about. Because they literally say, the way I did this and I hid all of these messages or clues in the subtext of the movie, and not just like, oh, I guess it was the butler who killed him. Oh my God, I'm so surprised. Because just in case the audience is a bunch of dummies, you got to spell it out for them. No, you hide that subtext, and if they don't get it, they don't get it. So what, right? But being able to treat your audience like they are capable, competent viewers is respect. That is reciprocal respect from the artist. I got mad appreciation for that. All right, so that was a poem by Ren, Trick the Fox, but let's see what we got here. If there's a little tune. This is a cover. They are busking, they're on the street, a cello, oh boy. This is a cover of Grenade and Earthquake. This is Trick the Fox. 5,000 subscribers. Now, if the sound quality is terrible, it is what it is, a 2-minute video, so just hang on. But this is live, and I'm imagining very, very little, if any, post-production.
Do you ever get the feeling that karma doesn't work? Cause you're giving her love, but you're getting back hurt. And you never treat her wrong, never act like a jerk. She wouldn't think twice to put you down in the dirt. Girl, I would jump right in front of a train. I'll be eaten by wolves, I'll be burned to a flame. I'll be drowned in the earthquake, drowned in the sea. I know you'll never ever do the same to me. Easy come, that's just how you live. Oh, take it all, but you never give. Should've known you were jumping from the first kiss. Had your eyes wide open. Why would it open? I gave you all I had and you tossed it in the trash. Yeah, you tossed it in the trash. Yeah, you did. To give me all your loving is all I ever asked. But what you don't understand is I'd catch a grenade for you. I throw my hand on the blade for you. I jump in front of the chain for you. You know I do anything for you. Whoa, I will go through all this pain and take a bullet strap for my pain.
Wow.
Yes, I would die for you, lady. Oh, you wouldn't do the
Oh, B-roll.
Oh, I said yeah. And we gon' make an earthquake up in hell. I said yeah. We're gonna make an earthquake up in hell. Now throw bombs on it, just smash something, yeah, march from it. I said yeah. We're gonna make an earthquake up in hell. Oh.
Nice. Oh, I love that. That's great. I love that. See, that to me is a perfect example of a video that you can vibe to. It's a cover. You kind of know the song, but you get to hear the vocals. And this little combo of the cello and the acoustic and both voices, spectacular. Love it. I love it. That's good. I love this stuff. That organic feel on the street, no trickery, just plain beautiful music.